Hello guys, it's me again, I'm nafithsalama. Today in this video we will talk about ClearPass and Intune integration. Intune is a third party which is Microsoft cloud-based authorization source and can be used for other purposes, something like machine device management and some other things. Now what we're going to do, we'll show you how to install the Intune extension on ClearPass. So once that has been installed, then the workflow will be user will authenticate to ClearPass. ClearPass will take using this extension Intune to communicate that information to Microsoft Intune, which already been set up. This video assumes that you already have Intune in place. ClearPass will use Intune extension to request the attributes. So basically the authenticated endpoint will be presented inside the ClearPass. ClearPass will use the retained attributes that was sent by Intune, probably take action. So based on the policy, it will have all the attributes that are retained by Intune upon obviously the request of the extension. So let's go. As you know, the integration between Aruba ClearPass and the likes of Tune is done through what's so known as extensions. These are subcomponents of the ClearPass Exchange integration framework, which is kind of additional services that are running on the main operating system. We call them microservices, and that will enable like Aruba to deliver new features outside the main software release cycle. And that will be a faster time to market, basically. And one of these integrations will be, as we're going to see today, the Intune. So this is ClearPass 6.11 we're running as per this video. So we will go to Administration, Agent and Software Update, and we go Software Update. In 6.11, we generate a token right now. So you log in with your credentials. So you are now connected, and that's the username, which is basically your HPE passport credentials, and that was based on the supplying the correct username password, right? You need to go to guest, so you go to administration, and this is extensions. So here we can see that we can extend the functionality, install extension. The multiple types of extension, a lot of these extensions. Now we're going to go to our extension that we would like to add. You might filter if you would like. So we filter Intune, and we're going to see that Intune will be filtered. Then you will go and install. Extension ClearPass uses non-routable the internal IP address. You can change this one. In this case, we don't want to change it because we are not using it anyway. So we're gonna just go and add the extension. So that's the Microsoft Intune is running now, as you can see on the screen here. Of course, you can stop it, you can restart. So that's been stopped. Now we're going to restart again, show you that you can restart at any time. So it is running now. We do assume that your Intune, Microsoft Intune has already been set up. You onboarded your clients, Windows or Mac OS or Linux. Now we will look at the integration between ClearPass and Microsoft Intune. So that's an example of an Intune onboarded client. You can see that there's one window client. There are no other clients, iOS or Mac OS or other types of operating system. Again, the setup of the Intune, the Microsoft Azure, is outside the scope of this training. You can look at the documentation and how to do that. But again, the whole concept here is to show the integration between ClearPass, Aruba ClearPass, and Microsoft services, which is one of them is the machine management or the application management or MDM, whatever you'd like to call it, Microsoft Intune in this case. So now you go to Azure portal. The previous one was the Intune, the one we showed the one machine. Now that's Azure portal. We need to add ClearPass as an application. Now we need to register ClearPass as an app. You can search Active Directory app registration in here. We can see a link here. Click on it. Click New Registration here. This is the Wizlane, which is the account. And we're going to just register. What we need to do is to collect some information from here. We talk about the application or client ID and the tenant ID. So we need to copy this. We need to copy this. So both of these, we will copy them. We're going to use them a little bit later. Take note of these. So we're going to copy this. Now we're going to copy this. Now we need to set the permission to be configured. So we're going to go for API permission. You will add few permissions. There are some minimum requirements which we will add them, and you can add as many more because this is how Microsoft Azure, they have tightened the permission or the control. So this will take you to this page and request API permissions. We're going to add, click on Microsoft Graph, then application permissions. You can search, we're going to add device, search for device, and we'll look at device management. But you don't need all of these. At least you need to have the read for the device managed in Intune devices, minimum read. So again, I'm just selecting, this is read all. You only need this as a read, so you don't need the other one. In this case also, you can look at read all, this one, you don't need others. But obviously, it depends on your policy, so you can add permissions as suits your requirements in this case. Indeed, for this, we're going to select both of those. So what we have, these 4 permissions being added. Some other extras, if you like, you can, like application read only, that is recommended. So we can go and go add permission here. We're going to go applications read only. So that's application, and it says application read only, read all. As you can also go to directory. This is your policy, it's up to you. So read all, yeah. I'm gonna add this and add permission. So at this stage we need to grant admin consent. So we're gonna, because notice they are not granted. So we're gonna do this. I'm gonna say yes. They are all granted now. I would like to add some more, like application. So under the Microsoft Graph and under the application tab, I'd like to go and add more. So I'm going to add this. I'm going to add this. I will go down to directory and I would like to have read all. Now we will add permission. Again, we'll do the same. We grant admin consent for the company, Wizlane. There we go. One final step we'd like to do is certificate and secret. We're going to create a secret here. So add new secret, client secret, and give whatever description, which is I'm going to give the same description as the top. And we say probably, it doesn't matter because we're doing demo anyway, so let's go 2 years or something. What we're going to do, we've done that, we need to record the secret, the value. So this secret, we're going to record this copy, and then we're going to keep it safe. Going back to ClearPass, we can clearly see the extension has been installed. As we said before, we need now to configure that extension. This extension configuration copy will have to be modified per installation. So each one will have unique tenant ID and some other IDs that we have copied from Microsoft Azure /Intune. There are many fields can be added, but the mandatory fields are the 3 of them: tenant ID, client secret. These are the ones we have shown, and we took note of them. And we're going to insert this into the configuration text. So these are the 3 values that we will compensate with the values we have took from Microsoft Azure. So we're going to restart the extension, save changes. That will make these changes effective basically. So the changes have been taken. If you click on the configuration, you should see the values with the client secret has been obscured basically. So the values that we needed as bare minimum, of course there are many other things like what we see in the list here. We might or might not, but these are the main as bare minimum. You need these 3 values in this case. We can have a look at show log, what we've done. You can see all the logs and so on. Notice the IP address here, this IP. This is the one that will be used, that will be assigned. It is assigned already to this extension, as we said. And the fact that we are not using it in our network, so we're going to leave it as is. We're not going to change it. But that will be used when the configuration of the Intune as HTTP authorization source within the ClearPass policy manager. So that extension, we're going to use it. Again, this IP address can be changed if you're already using that IP in your network, or if you prefer a different IP. No issues, but we have chosen not to change that IP address. Now we will configure the HTTP authorization mode, and we will make Intune as the authorization Z source right now. So we're going to go back to the ClearPass policy manager, and we will go to the authentication source, and we will add Intune for that purpose. So click here, policy manager, config, authentication source. We're going to go add, we're going to just give it a name. So let's say MS Intune and it's going to be HTTP. So we go for this. Go next. So the URL will be the IP we showed earlier. Remember that IP for the extension. So we're going to go HTTP and that's the IP that was reserved for the Intune. These are mandatory information, can be sent to anything basically, will not be used, but I will use the same credentials I'm using for ClearPass. Go next. So we will add filters. Again, we're going to call this one Intune filter. That's version 6 actually of the communication. And the filter query going to be this. And we will add the attributes now here. So we're going to just add one by one, and we're going to type. So I'm going to type a bunch of those with some alias. These are the attributes that will be read as a role or as attribute from the Intune. Let's examine the first one. We have typed Intune device name. This is something you type. So we're going to start typing. With a role, we're going to enable it as a role, as an attribute as well. I will add some more, and it will be the same kind of concept. So like in here, Intune Azure and so on. I will attach a document from ClearPass, show you any of these names or attributes, and you can use that document to add more attributes. I'm just showing you some examples here. Yeah. We can see the list of attributes that we're looking for, and we call this one Intune filter. We go next. So we're happy with that. We're going to say save it. Once that's been configured, we can use this in our policy and use the retain attributes from the Intune to take certain action or certain enforcements. We're going to show you an example of this. So let's create a new service and use the Intune authorization as part of the authorization of the new service. So we go here, that's services. We make it simple, and so we go with a wireless, and I will not make insert any condition here, but we can use authorization. So we go authentication source. I'm going to go, we leave the authentication method. Just go to a simple one, and then in the authorization we can add. So we can add this as an Intune authorization, part of whatever authorization. So here, local database, we can do something else, and I'll just make it simple. Basically, there's nothing, so I'm allowing everybody to log into any SSID and any day. So we're going to save that. We'll give it a name. And there we go. So that service that we have created, WLAN, and that has very generic requirements. So an SSID will do. And then once you authenticate, you're going to see that the attributes will be returned by the Intune, where you can use these attributes as a role or attributes and to take certain action or certain actions. We will log in one user, so we're going to create an SSID, just random one, and we will log in one user and see what is the input, and then what attributes that have been gleaned by Intune.